I want to give you a little bit more of the story behind the story with Beans and Rice last year. Is we as a campus came together and we said, we want to fight this heroin epidemic. We want to provide more access to treatment for people. We brought it to the committee that was doing Beans and Rice, and the first answer we got was, it's a great idea, but we're too late in the game, so it's a no. Went home, and I just didn't feel good about it. I just felt like, no, this is too important to give up on. I believe this is going after the heart of God. So went back the next day, met with some of that committee again. I was saying, guys, this is important. We need to do this. And I heard no again. They said, this is a great initiative for next year. Put it off. You can do it next year. It's like, man, I feel like I'm not supposed to give up on this. I feel like I'm supposed to be persistent. I need to keep following through on this. So I met with my boss, and I said, Kathy, I'm telling you, I think we're missing if we don't do this as a part of Beans and Rice, but here's what I'm going to do. If we don't do that this year as a part of Beans and Rice, I will take all the budget that I'm responsible for, all my director's budget, and I'm going to put all of it 100% towards providing access to treatment, because I'm telling you, we have to do something. And she looked at me and said, then your campus may be suffering, but that's what you need to do then. And she asked me, did you talk to Brian yet? Did you talk to Brian Tome? Why don't we go talk to him together? Went and talked with Brian. I said, Brian, I'm telling you, I feel like we're supposed to do this thing. He said, it is late in the game, but let me talk to him. Let me talk to him and see what happens. Pretty powerful thing happens when Brian starts talking to other people that are part of the staff. And one by one, people started coming around. One by one, people started changing their minds. And we had no idea that it was going to be the biggest single initiative of the 4 that we did last year. We didn't know that would continue having an impact this year. We had no idea that I was going to get people that would email, people that would actually send, this is a handwritten letter. This is better than an email. A handwritten letter explaining what it meant that we made this a part of Rice and Beans last year. This is a letter from a guy named Terry Smith. He received one of the scholarships that we helped to fund by eating differently. And it says Dear Crossroads, but I want to say Dear Crossroads Florence. It was this team, it was this community that came together to make this happen. Here's what it says. It says, my name is Terry Smith. I'm a student at Chad's Hope in Manchester, Kentucky. I entered the program on June 2nd, 2014. I'm graduating the program on January 22nd, 2015. I want you to understand that none of this would have been possible for me without your support. A lot of forgiveness and restoration has taken place since I've been here. God has restored my family and has given us true forgiveness. See, my wife and I have been divorced for 7 years. We only first began to talk to each other in May of 2014. Remember, I entered Chad's Hope on June 2nd, 2014. God is so good to us. On November 21st, 2014, right here at Chad's Hope, our director remarried my wife and I. Thank you, Jesus. I don't know if words could ever express how thankful I am to Christ who died on that cross for me and how your unselfish giving has changed my life. There's a song titled Thank You by Ray Boltz. It expresses how I feel. So from my wife, my children, my grandchildren, and myself, thank you, Terry Smith. What would have happened if we hadn't been persistent? What would have happened if we as a community chose not to be persistent? I can tell you, we wouldn't have seen this. I would do Beans and Rice 100 times to see this happen. I would do it 100 times to see that happen. And what you need to hear, you'll never get to what's next until you're faithful with right now. You want to get to what's next in your life. You never get to what's next until you're faithful with right now. And God's saying, I want to build godly habits in you. I want to build godly habits that give you more of my heart in your life. It's why we're going to do Beans and Rice together. Is anybody excited about Beans and Rice? Is anyone willing to eat differently to see more of that happen? I would do it 100 times to see that happen. I would do that.